getting you connected to the sports and life behind the scenes at Newberry College. This is Wolves Weekly. From the Langford Communications Center at Newberry College, this is Wolves Weekly. I'm Al Della Chica. Most of the time, what we cover here at Wolves Weekly are the popular sports like football, baseball, and basketball, and other top college sports. They consist of so much more, though. Today, we'll have a recap of our men's and women's tennis teams, including Wolves Weekly's own Alexa Gambarino. Here is the report.
On February 17, 2025, at the Oakland Tennis Center, both the men's and women's Newberry tennis teams faced off against the North Georgia Falcons at their home court starting at 2 p.m. The doubles teams for both squads came out strong. On the women's sides, Emma Arnold and Renee Dorval found themselves down 1-4 early on, but they fought back with fewer mistakes and longer rallies, pushing the score 3-4. The Falcons would close the set out 6-3. On the men's side, James Vincent and Daniel Watson battled hard in a thrilling match that ended 7-6, with a 7-5 tiebreaker. Despite their efforts, they couldn't quite overcome one of the best doubles teams in the country. Joshua Fritz and David Nigzau, however, put on a display of quite excellent tennis, winning their match 6-4 with a powerful combination of strong serves and precise volleys. Unfortunately, neither the men's nor the women's teams secured the doubles points, but they continued to fight hard for their singles matches. In the women's singles, Renee Dorval started strong, taking a 4-1 lead in the first set. However, after a long, consistent battle, she lost 4-6, 2-6. Margarita Roska showed incredible resilience against a tough opponent. After losing the first set 1-6, she fought back hard, eventually winning 2-6. She then battled through an intense tiebreaker, ultimately failing 8-10. The final match of the day featured Ina Morales, who played with consistent rallies and secured a solid victory, winning 6-4, 7-5. Both teams fought valiantly against one of the toughest teams in the region. The final score for the women was 1-6, and for the men, it was 0-7. Looking ahead, the men will face Georgia College on February 18th, while the women will travel away for a match against Lander on February 20th.
And make sure you keep up with all the Wolves schedule at newberrywolves.com to make sure you go and support your favorite team. Wolves Weekly will return in a moment.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
My dad was a farmer. The guy was bigger than life. He wasn't someone that liked to show his emotion or liked to show when he was struggling, but we all struggle. I want to show emotion to my kids. It's something that brings me so much joy, and I want them to see me working through things. Allow your kids to know that it's okay to struggle, that even dad doesn't know the answer sometimes, but we're gonna figure it out together.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those barbecues you plan in detail for your family? Or your daughter's first costume party? It was out of this world. The same way you plan each detail for those moments, start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Hi, I'm Smokey Bear, and I made an assistant to help you prevent wildfires. Dude, I've got this. I've been camping since I was 5 years old.
But I am a camping influencer.
You know what? I'll bet you $5. Okay. Assistant Smokey, what is the best way to put out a campfire?
To put out a campfire, drown with water, stir, drown again. Then make sure the fire is out cold by feeling with the back of your hand.
Wait, really?
I'll take the $5.
Welcome back to Wolves Weekly. I'm Paul C. Fisher. Newberry College has a long list of distinguished alumni. Joining us today in the studio is from the class of 2001, Communication Studies major, Emmy Award winner, Miss Victoria Kennedy. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. How are you?
So excited about this. This is awesome. Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited to be back. It's like coming home, right?
Right? So it's a little bit of homecoming. Tell us a little bit about what that is like, kind of what your experience at Newberry was and how it helped prepare you for the career you've had.
My education at Newberry was invaluable. It really was. The hands-on experience that I received in the communications department really prepared me for my first job in TV. And I remember walking into my first newsroom knowing how to do everything. Like, I knew how to shoot, I knew how to edit, I knew how to write, I knew how to floor direct and run prompter and run studio cameras. Like, I could do everything where most people in a newsroom had one or two things that they could do. So it made me very marketable coming out of college and gave me some really good experience on my resume going into the professional world. And it's all because we have those tools right here on campus, right here in our communications center. I mean, look at our studio. Like, it's a full-fledged operating, running studio. And you guys get to learn how to use this equipment and produce shows that go out, you know, on the airwaves. So yeah, it's really invaluable.
But then after you graduated, you started off in local news and then even went to the network level. What would you say was kind of the biggest difference between the two?
For me, there was a really big learning curve because I went from local news to a global network working on the international network. So in local news, in order to put an international story in my newscast, like it would have to have really good flame video. Lots of people would, you'd have to have lots of casualties or something of the sort. And even then it would only be like 15, 20 seconds worth of space in my show in local news, right? So going from local news to international news, I really had to crash course in international politics and really study regions of the world and religions and why certain groups of people don't like other certain groups of people, like throughout the Middle East. All of that plays into editorial when you're talking about international news, which I was not accustomed to. So there were many late nights that I would lie in bed and I would just scroll through and read international newspapers and headlines and just crash course myself to kind of bring myself up to that level where I needed to be. Yeah.
Okay, so it was a lot of learning, really, even kind of a lot of homework, to be honest.
Yeah, it was.
But with that experience, then obviously we know that you made it. Not only that, but then award-winning as well. Based on your perspective and your experience, what does it take to create an award-winning story? What goes into that? Kind of what is that process like?
One of my mottos in life is, and I've taught this to my children from a very, very young age, and it's really cool to see them implement it now, but one of my mottos is, everyone has a story, you just have to listen. So as a journalist, I've been a journalist, 25 years plus now, and I find that the best stories are the ones that you don't plan. They're not the ones that you set out to do. They're the stories that come to you as you're out doing that original story that you spent so many hours planning and making contacts and setting up interviews for. That's not the story. There's a story around you that you don't know about yet. So when you open your eyes and your ears and you listen, that's when you find really, really cool stories that need to be told. And you just happen to be in the right place at the right time to tell that story. So I think what goes into making that happen is, as a journalist, you have to be willing to be flexible and to pivot really quickly. You know, pull a Ross from Friends, pivot. You know, if anybody, you know, recognizes that. Pivot, like definitely from one story to another when you realize, that's a really good story that needs to be told. Just, you know, making that happen.
That's great advice. I really love that. It kind of tells you that wherever you are in life, be aware, be looking around, because there's always a story happening and you just got to be able to recognize that.
Right.
Seriously though, thank you so much for joining us here in the studio. Thank you for coming back to campus.
It's a pleasure meeting you guys and being here with you for a few days. And yeah, we've got a couple. So we'll find something to get into.
This was great. And producer, Miss Victoria Kennedy. Wolves Weekly will be back in just a moment.
Yo, camping buddy. Okay, you guys ready?
Dude, I thought you were driving.
I thought you were driving.
Oh, I never said I was driving.
I definitely can't drive.
If you're high, just don't drive. It's illegal everywhere. If you feel different, you drive different.
You're not gonna get it all right. Just make sure you nail the big stuff.
Mama!
Like making sure your kids are in the right seat for their age and size. Get it right at nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
When I arrived in the U.S. at 19, I struggled to find job opportunities without a high school diploma. Everything I have, my education, my career, my marriage, I owe to the Adult Literacy Center and my teachers.
Your achievement has set an example for so many students. Most importantly, your daughter.
Education was the key that unlocked all my opportunities.
When you graduate, they graduate. Visit finishyourdiploma.org to find free adult education centers near you.
Adding your own flavor to fashion comes with age.
Okay, Dad, look at you.
Forgetting how to add doesn't. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's. Some things come with age, some others don't.
NCTV, Newberry.
Newberry College Sports welcomes any who are interested to consider joining. But what is lesser known is that many of the students within Newberry Sports come from not just the States. We interview Jonathan Valles, a communications major, and Jamar Lugo, a business major, of the Newberry baseball team about what it has been like coming from Puerto Rico to Newberry College.
What is something you miss about Puerto Rico?
That's a good one. I would say the temperature and my family. For sure, my family top. I miss my family, miss my friends. I've always been very close to them, so not having them around when something good happens, when something bad happens, definitely something that I miss. But they always support me throughout my whole life, even though they're a little far away, they're always close to me, Also, the temperature, like I said, sometimes it gets a little too cold in here. I don't like it, but you got to fight through it, But also the food. I mean, it's pretty good food here, but Puerto Rico is something different. So, yeah.
Something I miss about Puerto Rico is obviously my family, my friends. That's, something that I see every day. Definitely the food, too. Don't get me wrong, food's good here, but eat like a traditional, Puerto Rican play, rice, bean, and, pork chops or, mofongo, something like that is something that I miss a lot.
Why Newberry College?
I chose Newberry College because since the first time I came here, it just felt home. Everything was nice. I went on a visit here, and the coach was very, very welcoming. The teammates, everything just felt like a family. Also, the style of baseball that they play here is what I like to do, and I was looking forward to come here 4 years, and it was probably the best decision I've ever made in my life. So, yeah.
I choose Newberry College because since I came to my visit, they made me feel that I was part of the team already. I walked around campus that day, and everything felt really good. I was looking at myself I want to be in this place. And from the first day, they made me feel as I was part of the family. So that's why I choose Newberry.
How different baseball is in the U.S. comparing to Puerto Rico?
I would say it's pretty similar, to be honest. I would say the only difference, there's a lot more opportunities here. College-wise, there's a lot more colleges in here that you can get a degree and also play baseball or play your sport. So yeah, that's a big difference. Puerto Rico's still great at baseball. They still have some really good colleges, but the amount of colleges that are here is more, and that's what I think is more opportunities here to accomplish those goals.
It's pretty much the same. The same sport, obviously, but I feel, in my opinion, that you have more opportunity if you play in the U.S. Playing in Puerto Rico, yeah, you got exposure and people from, let's say, the MLB and the pro team look at you, but being here in the U.S., you have more people beside the MLB. They can look at you and give you another opportunity to play pro in this sport, baseball. We met each other when we were 10 years old. He joined my team for the Caribbean Series. We won the Caribbean Series tournament, and then we went to the World Series. It was at Texas, and we ended up getting third place there. And then after that, we keep in touch, but I ended up
moving to North Myrtle Beach my sophomore year of high school, and I played there for a season and a half, and then JJ reached out to me our senior year. He reached out to me and asked if he can move in with me and my dad, which we were very happy to do so. We've been knowing each other for about 10 years, 13 years, so I was very happy to do that. He moved in with me and my dad our senior year, and then we played together our senior season in North Myrtle Beach High School, and then that's when we got offered, and we ended up here at Newberry College. We've been here for 4 years together, so it's been great.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping, and I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Can can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
Jason, let's go see your room.
How was it? Is it good?
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
It's something about having that piece of paper. Some people think that's worth more than my skills.
I've run this place for 20 years, but I still need to prove that I'm more than what you see on paper.
You just gotta be so good they can't ignore you.
It's the way my mind works. I have a very mechanical brain.
Analytics and empathy. That's how I've gained clients.
I am more.
I'm more than who I am on paper.
You can talk to me if you're feeling sad.
Thanks for hearing me out, bro.
Whenever you need to talk, I'm here, okay?
Welcome back to Wolves Weekly. And now with Tucker Moore, let's get to that scoreboard and get you caught up with all the action that took place over the past week. The women's basketball team, who had dropped 11 games in a row leading into their matchup with UVA Wise this past Saturday, came away with a buzzer beater by Jess Tompkins off a rebound to top the Cavaliers 70-68 as time ran out. The Wolves outscored UVA Wise 22-12 in the final quarter to end the streak. Newberry hits the road this Wednesday to play at Coker.
For the men, it was a close game, but not quite as exciting as the women's team. The Wolves jumped out to an 8-point halftime lead, and even though they were outscored in the second half 39-36, the lead proved too much for UVA Wise as Newberry held on to earn the win 77-72. Devaro Shepard scored a game-high 22 points as the Wolves improved their season record to 11-13 and 8-12 in the conference.
The Newberry baseball team scored their first conference wins of the season as they defeated the Tusculum Pioneers 2-1 over the past weekend. The Wolves split the Friday doubleheader, losing the first game, but came back with a 4-0 win in Game 2, and then followed that up with a decisive 9-5 victory on Saturday. With the win, Newberry improves to 8-3 overall and 2-1 in the conference.
In softball, the Wolves split a doubleheader against Flagler University on Saturday. The Wolves won a close one in Game 1 with the final score of just 2-1, but Flagler fought back in Game 2, taking the 6-3 victory. Newberry will be taking on Emmanuel University out of Georgia this week.
And the women's lacrosse team is starting out in fine fashion as they won their third straight game to improve to 3-0 on the young season, this time against the Barton College Bulldogs with a final score of 14-6. Emma Jobs tied a school record by scoring a career-high 6 goals. With the win, the team has their best start in school history and will try to keep that streak going against Lander this week.
And finally, the Newberry women's wrestling team took to the mats in a double duel meet against Allen University and Emory and Henry in Columbia on Friday. The Wolves earned 3 individual wins against Allen, but ultimately fell 30-15. The Wolves then faced Emory and Henry and lost 25-15. And don't forget, you can find up-to-date information on all Newberry's teams at newberrywolves.com. There you'll find the latest scores and highlights and see full schedule information. Learn how to get tickets and official team merchandise and so much more. You'll find it anytime you want at newberrywolves.com.
Yeah, and Tucker, you know, those exciting games, right? Especially the women's basketball. We had talked about this last week about how that critical support, you know, is important, especially when a team is kind of down on the outs and they're losing a little bit, that kind of thing. And look at that. They really fought through. So proud of Johnette Walker, head coach, and the ladies of the women's basketball team, outscoring their opponents in the fourth quarter. Never say die. They came back, and I'm sure it was pandemonium probably at the buzzer beater. Not only get a win, but at the buzzer. That would have been crazy in there.
That's right, yeah. I think it's indicative of who this team is. Coming into the game, 5-18 record. Fans still showing up, coming out to support. And yeah, I mean, coming in with, you know, losing 11 straight, you know, and fighting like they did. Like you said, 22-12, fourth quarter. With Jess Thompson, she was the one who got the game-winning basket. She had a 19-point double-double, and 3 of the 4 leading scorers actually came off the bench and put up double figures. So I think it was just a really hard-fought victory, you know, scratching and clawing their way to victory. Just, you know, looking at, like I said, how this team has, you know, been down and out. I think it builds. It's going to build on the next year and help them to succeed.
Absolutely, and obviously, you know, teamwork. So important, of course. And again, when you have a brand new head coach and coaching staff, so it may take a little while, but they showed that they have the grit and determination to get it done. And that's all for this edition of Wolves Weekly. I'm Al Della Chica.
And I'm Tucker Moore. Join us next time for more Wolves Weekly.
When you can't get to the game, Wolves Weekly gets all of the excitement of the game to you. Available on Flow Sports and produced by NCTV Newberry.